What's up, guys, and welcome to my rigging station. I'm down here tying some rigs, and I wanted to talk to you about reef fishing, mangrove snapper fishing in particular. Look, this is absolutely one of my favorite fisheries, and even though mangrove snapper are available around the entire state, we're talking about the Keys because the tactics and the techniques that they use on the Gulf of Mexico are different than what we're doing here. The tactics and the techniques that they're using all the way up the eastern seaboard are different than what we're using here in the Keys. So that's what we're going to talk about. Most of our mangrove snapper fishing here is out on the patch reef. Certainly you can run out to Florida Bay. There's a ton of structures out there that are really effective, that are loaded. And once again, that's a slightly different fishery, and we're going to talk about Florida Bay and how to fish all of those wrecks in an upcoming seminar. Today it's about the patch reefs. 35 feet of water, and we're going to share the secrets to success. First, get there early. You've got to be anchored up before dawn, okay? This is an early morning fishery if you're really looking for those big, impressive mangroves. If you want to catch the 1-pounders, the barely keeper 10, 12-inch fish, you can do that all day long. But if you're serious about catching the big fish, you've got to be there early. So be prepared to lose a little bit of sleep and get up early, okay? May and June is the peak of the fishery, but you can catch mangroves 365 days a year. That's the greatest thing about this fishery, okay? Any day of the year, if conditions allow, you can put together a solid catch. But if I had to pick the ideal time frame, it would be during that May-June spawning time frame. Okay, that's when all of the big mangroves are coming out of the bay, out here to the reef system, and really just presents anglers a phenomenal opportunity, a quality fish in shallow water. Nighttime is a great time. A lot of guys fish for these fish at night. It's a great time to do it, especially that time of the year, May, June. It's really hot. Summertime, especially again here in the Keys. So being able to fish at night is an awesome opportunity, and this is a perfect fishery to do it. But like I said, getting there early in the morning also leaves the door wide open for a hot bite. You're there, you're anchored up. Positioning is everything. Make sure the boat's in the right position where your chum is flowing behind you over the structure that you want to fish. You've got to have moving water. If there's no moving water, if there's no current, nothing, leave. Go find a different spot, okay? Move a few miles up or a few miles down the reef, whatever you got to do, because you need moving water to get these big mangroves to bite. That's absolutely vital. Bait, really important. Nothing beats a small to medium live pinfish. Big mangrove, small live pinfish. That's it right there. Second best bait, live ballyhoo. You can bring fresh ballyhoo with you, but if any ballyhoo swim up the slick, stop what you're doing and catch them. Use a bally hoop, use a cast net, use a little gold hook with a piece of squid. I don't care what you use, catch some of those live ballyhoo, because drop one of those down to the bottom and that's a guaranteed bite. Also remember, look, you don't want to show up with tackle that's not heavy enough for the job. Certainly most of the mangroves you're going to catch are 1 to 3 pounds, 4 pounds, fine. But every now and then, you're gonna get that right one to eat a bait. Plus, what swims with the mangroves? Black groupers, mutton snapper, and if you want any shot at stopping and landing those quality fish that can change the outcome of the entire day, one fish, you better beef it up a little bit. For me, the ideal reef fishing outfit for mangrove snapper is a SP, 15 to 30 pound class, 7-foot spinner. This is the Chaos Gold. You've seen us use this for everything from snook to sailfish. Incredibly versatile outfit, very, very comfortable. You can fish this rod in a composite or an e-glass version. You're gonna do just as well with either. I've got it matched to a Shimano Twin Power size 8000. I don't care what spinning reel you use, just make sure it has a nice smooth drag. That's really all that matters, and that everything is balanced. Line capacity is not vital in this fishery because we're only fishing in 30 to 35 feet of water. Even if a big fish picks off the bait, I've got plenty of line capacity. The line, on the other hand, is what's even more important. 20-pound diamond braid loaded on the reel, so I'm rigged and ready for everything. But like with almost all fisheries, we add a mono top shot. To the end of that braid, I'm including no less than 25 feet of 20 or 30 pound monofilament, very stealthy. I like the diamond in the super clear Fluorocarbon, great option if you can get your hands on fluorocarbon. Either way, keep it stealthy. Start with 30 pound. If you can get away with 30 pound, that's even better. If they're really being line shy, the water's crystal clear, you're not getting the bites that you're looking for, scale it down to 20 pound test. After every fish, feel your leader. Look for chafes and nicks and abrasions. If there's any damage, retie it. You've got at least 25 feet. You can chop a foot off every time. No big deal, okay? Don't be the guy who says, I'll fix it next time. There is no next time. Fix it this time. Keep it simple. 1/2 ounce jig head, right there. Boxing glove style jig, sits on the bottom. Hook that pinfish right here through the chin. Hook a live ballyhoo through the chin. If it's a big pinfish, cut it in half or into thirds. But here's the secret. Keep that bait sitting on the bottom. The big mangroves don't like that bait moving through the water column. They're not gonna pick it off moving through the water column. They're gonna pick it off sitting on the bottom. So that's the ticket to fool those big mangroves. Get there early, be in the right position, chum heavily, get the freshest baits that you can, stay away from all that frozen stuff. Do not let me see you going mangrove snapper fishing with frozen sardines, frozen anything. That stuff is mush. It's not gonna stay on the hook and you're not gonna be successful. Always fish the freshest bait that you can, even if it's not alive. A fresh dead bait is far better than any frozen bait you'll ever buy, okay? The jig heads, don't fish anything less than 1/2 ounce. The hooks are too small, they're gonna straighten. They'll straighten out right in the fish's mouth if you're putting a lot of heat on them. Not on a small fish, but on the big fish. And don't you wanna catch big fish? What are you doing, right? So you gotta, it's about balance. Consider the hook size. Don't go too crazy, and you may have to vary the jig a little. If there's a lot of current, you may go from a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce, but that's about the only variation that you need. White, chartreuse, pink, they all work. The fish can't tell the difference. He's so focused in on that bait, he's not, admiring the color of your jig. Put in the time, put in the effort, don't go crazy. 6 people fishing at one time is a no-no when you're reef fishing for big mangroves. 2 or 3 guys at a time. That's it, 2 or 3 guys. Pay close attention to every connection, every knot. Remember what I said? Braid to mono top shot with an Alberto knot. Mono top shot to jig head with an improved clinch knot. Those are 2 of the most basic knots that there are. If you can't tie those knots, go play golf, okay? Very, very simple, very stealthy. No additional terminal tackle, no swivel, snaps. You don't need any of that, okay? Look, Florida Keys, year-round, phenomenal fishery, from novices to pros. Everybody loves mangrove snapper fishing. You can bring your own boat down or rent a boat. And let me tell you something, Captain Pips right here in Marathon, these guys have 150 boat rentals, including twin outboard powered center consoles. It may make sense for you to just leave your boat at home and rent a boat here so you can go out to the reef and get hooked up on all of these mangroves. Mention Florida Sport Fishing TV, you're also gonna give you 10% off your rental boat rate, okay? I'm trying to make it easy as possible for you. This is a staple. Everybody wants to come down here. They wanna catch fish, okay? They wanna have fun. There's nothing better or easier than mangrove fishing, but to be successful, you've gotta pay attention to the details. They're not everywhere. If you don't get them fired up and you don't catch them, gosh, give it an hour, 90 minutes, very, very most, then get up and move. Get up and move, go to a different part of the reef, okay, and maybe you can get them fired up there. Don't spend your entire time on one spot if they're not biting. Remember what to look for. Moving water, sharp structure with 90-degree turns and ledges and drop-offs, something that really stands out from everything else. Do it right, you're gonna stay tight, and I'm gonna see you out on the water with a box full of snappers.